Your parents weren't around because they were at work. Both of them. And on a scale the country hadn't really seen before. I came across a number about it. From 1970 to 1990, the share of mothers with kids under 6 who were employed rose from roughly 37% to almost 60%. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, you came home to an empty house, let yourself in, fixed something to eat, and treated it like nothing unusual. A 2004 marketing report from Reach Advisors described Gen X as one of the most lightly parented and least nurtured generations in American history. And that wasn't exaggeration. You got used to solving your own problems because there simply wasn't another choice. Your mom wasn't calling the school to argue about your grades. Your dad definitely wasn't stepping into conflicts with your friends. He'd tell you to handle it yourself, or leave it alone. That everyday independence shaped the way you understood the world. But along with it came another trait, a kind of emotional self-reliance that looked like toughness, yet sometimes felt isolating. Jump ahead to today and listen to what people say about Gen X parents, and a clear pattern shows up. Many of them openly admit their latchkey upbringing still influences them. They speak candidly about deliberately choosing a different approach, being more present and engaged with their own children as a response to what they lacked growing up. When they do step into their kids' problems, some notice they can become more protective than the generation before them. People call them stealth fighter parents, meaning they aren't constantly hovering. But when something truly matters, they commit completely. Most of the time, they let you sort out your own issues. Yet, if a serious situation arises, they'll appear in the principal's office, ready to defend you with unexpected intensity. This wasn't the parenting style they originally intended. Many Gen X parents say they promised themselves they wouldn't be overbearing and that they appreciated the freedom they had as kids. Then they became parents, and something quietly changed. Memories of returning to an empty home, dealing with everything alone, and wondering whether anyone noticed you can rush back once you're in that role. So what happens when your parenting reflects how you were raised? Psychologist Diana Baumwind spent years researching parenting approaches and concluded they generally fall into categories based on two factors: emotional warmth and availability, called responsiveness, and the level of expectations and rules, known as demandingness. The authoritative style ranks high in both, meaning parents are emotionally supportive while still maintaining clear boundaries. That differs from authoritarian parenting, which is strict with little emotional backing, and from permissive parenting, which offers affection but few limits. Authoritative parenting is closer to saying, "I care about you, and I'm here," but you must accept the results of your choices. Research shows children raised this way manage emotions better, have stronger self-esteem, solve problems more effectively, and experience less anxiety and depression. They also tend to do better in school and form friendships more easily. This connection has been confirmed repeatedly across decades of developmental psychology studies. There isn't a massive study confirming that Gen X parents, as a whole, practice authoritative parenting. But when you hear how they describe their goals, being attentive without smothering, keeping rules while staying caring, stepping in yet allowing struggle, it lines up with that model quite well. Gen X understands hardship in a particular way. They entered adulthood during recessions, watched dependable retirement plans fade away, and saw job security as something their parents believed in, but they never really could. Growing up knowing the system won't always shield you changes how you prepare your children for the future. You can't assure them life will stay steady, so you focus on making them resilient enough for whatever happens. At the same time, they're raising kids in a world completely unlike their own childhood. Gen X is the first group parenting in the age of social media, where nearly everything can be measured and judged online. For people raised when privacy was normal and embarrassing moments didn't live forever on the internet, that shift feels enormous. The idea of sharing every success or milestone publicly feels unnatural to many of them. This may be one reason Gen X parents often seem emotionally drained. They're caring for aging parents, facing career stagnation, dealing with financial pressure, all while trying to give their kids a better upbringing without making them delicate. They're the sandwich generation, caught between boomer parents who think they're spoiling their kids and Gen Z children who sometimes see them as overly strict. They're translating between worlds that no longer speak the same language. Their parents view them as too lenient. Their kids see them as too tough, and they're simply trying to blend what worked in their own upbringing, independence and toughness, with what they wish they'd received, emotional presence and genuine attention. Observers who study generational behavior note that Gen X parents don't obsess much over whether they meet outside expectations. Being latchkey kids taught them something specific. Approval from the outside world is unreliable, so they parent based on an inner sense of importance shaped by their own memories of childhood. That means they might allow a teenager to repeat the same mistake, because sometimes repetition is how lessons stick. But they'll also answer the phone at 2 a.m. when everything falls apart, offering help without judgment. They remember having no one to call when things went wrong. Their relationship with technology also influences how they raise kids. They're old enough to recall life before the internet and before smartphones dominated attention. They experienced boredom and had to invent their own fun. They understand what real presence feels like because they lived in both eras. So when they limit screen time, it comes from experience rather than panic. They understand the tools, yet question the trade-offs. They're more comfortable with technology than boomers, but more doubtful of it than their children. When you see a Gen X parent at an event looking awkward among highly intense hovering parents, while still fully supporting their child, it seems contradictory. Yet they're aiming to raise kids who feel secure and self-reliant at the same time, confident you're supported but capable of handling life yourself. It isn't perfect and may not match standard parenting advice. But for a generation once labeled among the least nurtured in American history, showing up emotionally, not just physically present while scrolling a phone, matters a lot. They're trying to change the cycle while preserving the strengths they inherited. And that complexity doesn't fit tidy labels. Maybe that's the point. Gen X has never cared much about fitting into neat categories anyway. If this connected with you, remember to subscribe. And if you want to support these deep explorations, press join to become a channel member.